Not every dangerous place announces itself with a warning sign. Some landscapes look almost unreal from a distance, but take just one step closer, and you begin to understand why nature here has never truly been conquered. And even after standing there in person, you may still ask yourself, do places like this really exist? There is the Yellow River, squeezed from a width of 300 meters into a rock channel, only 20 meters wide, before plunging over Hukou waterfall like a liquid storm. Or Aiken Spring, rising from the wilderness of Qinghai like a giant eye, boiling in the red-orange earth, where mineral-rich hot water and sulfur deposits create a landscape that feels almost otherworldly. There are also roads clinging to mountain ridges, where one wrong turn could send a traveler falling into mist hundreds of meters below. Today's journey will take you to some of the most extraordinary places in China, where every stone, every ancient tree, and every mountain wall holds secrets that have endured for thousands of years. In the heart of the vast Gobi Desert in Qinghai, Aiken Spring appears as a giant, boiling eye, staring directly at the sky. Known by locals as the Devil's Eye, this geothermal anomaly features a green pupil that has erupted without stopping for thousands of years. The spring reaches an unbelievable depth of 647 meters, with water temperatures hitting 80 degrees Celsius at its Suksoi center. Surrounding the boiling eye is a ring of orange-red sediment that looks remarkably like branching blood vessels spread across the barren earth. To reach this remote site, explorers must cross hours of desert and walk along a fragile wooden bridge over unstable ground. The water spewing from Aiken contains such high levels of sulfur that it has rendered the surrounding land completely sterile, where not a single plant can grow in the mineral-stained soil. Almost no signs of life exist around the mouth of the spring, creating a landscape that feels like another planet altogether. Aiken Spring is a reminder of the Earth's hidden geothermal power, a silent, boiling gaze that has remained unchanged through the millennia. In Zhejiang Province, the Qiantang River presents a deceptive image of tranquility, until the unique funnel-shaped Hangzhou Bay amplifies the sea's energy into the world's largest tidal bore. Known as the Silver Dragon, this phenomenon signals its arrival with a roar compared to 10,000 horses stampeding from 10 kilometers away. A 9-meter wall of water forms on the horizon, rushing back into the river at a violent speed of 40 kilometers per hour and reclaiming the banks with immense force. This collision of lunar gravity and terrestrial water has been a cultural tradition for over 2,000 years, dating back to when ancient kings shot arrows to tame the rising flood. Despite the documented risks of being swept away, millions continue to gather at the stone embankments to witness the surge splashing over the tall barriers. Standing at the edge, the observer witnesses the raw power of the moon, a spectacle of sound and stone that proves the tide is a sovereign power indifferent to man. The silver dragon remains a terrifying challenge of nature, where the water's fury meets the resilience of human history. Rising 142 meters like a giant stack of wheat on the Silk Road, the Maijishan grottos appear as a paradox of gravity and religious devotion. This cliffside complex in Gansu province features over 220 caves carved directly into a nearly 90-degree rock surface, holding more than 7,800 clay and stone Buddha statues. What makes this site unbelievable are the iron and wooden walkways that zigzag along the outside of the cliff, at heights ranging from 30 to 80 meters. The statues inside often carry gentle smiles and round faces, a striking contrast to the extreme and dangerous conditions required to create them. Maijishan is a vertical city of faith, where centuries of tectonic movements and weathering have only added to the site's sense of precarious beauty. It is a haunting masterpiece of cultural history, where the sound of the wind through the caves echoes the devotion of monks who sought enlightenment between heaven and earth. The Turpan Basin of Xinjiang is home to the Flaming Mountains, a 100-kilometer stretch of red sandstone that looks like unhealed wounds on the desert floor. Known as the hottest place in China, the landscape features sharp peaks and deep gorges, where surface temperatures can reach a staggering 89 degrees Celsius on a summer noon. The intense heat causes the air to shimmer and distort, creating an optical illusion where the ridges appear as rolling waves of fire against the horizon. Immortalized in the legend of Journey to the West, the site is portrayed as a fiery pit where the Monkey King struggled to extinguish eternal flames. At the mountain's foot, a massive golden thermometer serves as a warning of the atmospheric hostility that defines this oxygen-rich but heat-trapped wasteland. The Flaming Mountains represent a geological masterpiece of thermal endurance, where sun and stone have conspired to create a planet-like surface. The wind provides no relief, blowing as a scorching draft that tests the limits of any biological life daring to enter. It is a land of red dust and ancient secrets, forever glowing under the relentless desert sun. Located on Highway G315 in the Qinghai Gobi Desert, the U-shaped road creates a terrifying optical illusion where the black asphalt appears to drive directly into the sky. Stretching across a slope nearly 3,000 meters high, the road dives straight down into the basin before shooting back up toward the horizon in a pattern resembling a giant roller coaster track. This road trip icon has become a viral sensation, but its beauty masks a lethal reality, defined by dangerous blind spots and high-speed traffic. Drivers speeding down from the top of the slope often cannot see vehicles or tourists at the bottom until the very last second, leaving zero distance for emergency braking. G315 represents the collision between modern engineering and the silent wasteland, where the horizon plays tricks on the eyes and the thin air amplifies the sense of isolation. It is a place of extreme geometry and profound risks, proving that even a perfectly flat road can become a spine-chilling challenge of vigilance and control. On the vertical cliffs of Shangrao, Jiangxi, Wangxian Valley reveals a hanging wooden town that appears to grow directly out of thin air. This architectural wonder consists of rows of traditional yellow-walled houses built in multiple tiers along the mountainside, looking down at a stream flowing through the valley floor over 300 meters below. The structures do not sit on a continuous flat surface. Instead, they cling to every recess of the cliff face, connected by a network of narrow bridges and stairs, suspended in mid-air. This former stone quarry was ecologically restored into a fantasy landscape, where waterfalls pour over rock layers and glowing windows haunt the mountain mist at night. Walking along the cliffside pathways, visitors find themselves separated from the abyss by only a low wooden railing, which often shakes slightly as heavy winds sweep through the gorge. Wangxian is a world where nature and architecture embrace in a permanent state of precarious harmony, proving that even a derelict quarry can be transformed into a masterpiece of environmental reconstruction. It remains a hauntingly beautiful settlement that captures the essence of a fantasy world brought to life. Stretching across two limestone cliffs in Hunan, the Zhangjiajie glass bridge looks like a see-through spiderweb floating 300 meters above the canyon floor. At 430 meters long, this transparent path was designed by Israeli architect Haim Dotan to be an invisible structure that blends seamlessly into the wilderness that inspired the movie Avatar. The floor is composed of multiple layers of clear glass, offering visitors a direct and terrifying view of the empty space and the riverbed hundreds of meters below. Beyond its function as a walkway, the bridge boasts the world's highest public bungee platform, where daredevils plunge into the abyss from a height of 260 meters. Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge is a cinematic dive into extreme geography, where the boundary between modern engineering and the natural void is only a few layers of glass away. It is a masterpiece of transparency and fear, a place where gravity is the only real master. Located in Yunnan, Tiger Leaping Gorge is one of the deepest river canyons on Earth, featuring a vertical drop of nearly 3,900 meters from the snow-capped summits to the riverbed. Squeezed between the Jade Dragon and Haba Snow Mountains, the Jinsha River is forced into a channel just 25 to 30 meters wide at its narrowest point. To navigate the gorge, hikers must traverse the infamous 28 bends and narrow paths carved into the cliff face with only low railings separating them from the rapids. Legend says a tiger once leaped across these rapids using a single rock as a stepping stone, a myth that still defines the wild character of the gorge today. During the flood season, the river turns into a muddy, churning monster that splashes white foam onto the viewing platforms with terrifying power. The force of the water is immense, creating a thunderous roar that echoes off the limestone walls, rising at angles of up to 90 degrees. This UNESCO-listed site is a place where nature's heartbeat is felt in every crashing wave and jagged pinnacle. Tiger Leaping Gorge remains a stark reminder of the planet's massive scale, where the survival of the legendary tiger becomes a symbol of the raw courage required to face such an untamed environment. Rising 2,217 meters in Henan Province, Laojun Mountain stands as a spiritually significant site where gold-plated bronze pavilions sit precariously on needle-like rock peaks. These shrines look like divine swords, piercing through the thick mountain clouds, creating a visual symphony of ancient faith and extreme geology. Historically, this was the retreat of Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, who sought spiritual enlightenment in this isolated vertical wilderness. Accessing the summit requires a grueling ascent up vertical stairs while holding onto cold iron chains bolted directly into the mountainside. Many sections of the path are less than 1 meter wide, with a sheer 1,000-meter abyss waiting just inches away from the traveler's feet. The weather is notoriously harsh, with heavy winds blasting up from the gorge and winter ice turning the stairs into a slippery trap. Standing amidst these golden roofs, the valley below is often swallowed by a sea of clouds, making the temples appear to be floating in an eternal sky. The site reflects 1.9 billion years of tectonic movements, resulting in a landscape of odd stones and old-growth forests that define the green heart of China. Laojun Mountain remains an unbelievable destination where the divine and the earthly meet at the edge of the sky. Hidden deep in the mountains of Wuxi, Chongqing, the Lanying Cliff Road is a delicate cut, clinging straight onto a sheer limestone wall at an altitude of nearly 1,500 meters. The route is only 1.2 kilometers long, yet it represents a road to prosperity, hand-carved by just 83 determined villagers, using only traditional drills and hammers over 4 grueling years. In many spots, the road is less than 3 meters wide, forcing vehicles to hug the jagged rock ceiling, while a vertiginous drop of hundreds of meters opens up right next to the tires. Driving here demands extreme focus, as one wrong move means disappearing into the blurry void of the Lanying Grand Canyon forever. The steepness reaches a staggering 23% in certain sections, where meeting an oncoming car forces drivers to reverse for hundreds of meters along the knife-edge cliff. Lanying is a humbling monument to human resilience, showcasing a landscape where the beauty of the Chongqing Mountains meets the chilling reality of a vertical abyss. It remains one of the most spine-chilling drives in the world, a place where the spirit of the villagers has carved a lifeline out of pure stone. At the boundary of Shanxi and Shanxi provinces, the Yellow River undergoes a violent transformation, where its 300-meter width is suddenly compressed into a 20-meter gap. This natural bottleneck, known as the teapot mouth, forces a massive volume of water to plunge into the abyss with a roar that renders all other sounds insignificant. This thunderous force carries the weight of a dark history, as the river once claimed over 4 million lives in the catastrophic flood of 1931. Observers today witness the muddy yellow water churning in a relentless cycle of kinetic energy, where the slick rocks offer no second chances for a single misstep. The landscape is a living monument to the raw, unfiltered strength of China's Mother River, standing as a symbol of both survival and collapse. Every crashing wave against the limestone walls reinforces the sense of a primordial danger that has remained untamed for millennia. Hukou is not merely a waterfall, but a terrifying display of how nature can crush the scale of human ambition with a single, liquid pulse. Jiankou Great Wall represents the raw and untamed soul of the Great Wall. Stretching across the Hukou Road district near Beijing, as a series of crumbling fortifications that refuse to be tamed by modern tourism. Named for its aerial resemblance to a drawn bow, this section reveals the authentic scars of the Tang and Ming dynasties, where the path is cracked and nature has begun to reclaim its ground. The terrain features vertical limestone ridges, where the stone stairs lean at terrifying 80-degree angles, often forcing hikers to crawl on all fours to navigate segments less than 60 centimeters wide. At an altitude of 1,141 meters, the eerie silence is broken only by the whistling wind, providing a haunting soundtrack to a landscape of jagged peaks and deep, unforgiving valleys. This section remains a high-risk zone due to frequent lightning strikes and the lack of safety infrastructure, serving as a visceral reminder of the soldiers who once defended this precipitous border against northern invaders. The contrast between the weathered white stone and the dense mountain greenery captures a sense of atmospheric decay, highlighting a story that still hasn't ended. Jiankou is not a destination for leisure, but a monument to historical endurance, where every step along the broken parapets is a gamble with the silence of the clouds. Deep in the rugged highlands of Sichuan stands Mount Siguniang, an oriental sacred mountain, defined by its world of crystalline ice and dangerously thin air. The highest peak, Yaomei, reaches a staggering 6,250 meters above sea level, acting as a white giant that dominates an alpine ecosystem of ancient glaciers. In the heart of winter, massive waterfalls freeze into vertical glass cliffs of blue and white, challenging mountaineers to climb against gravity using only precise, calculated movements. A single wrong grip on the brittle ice can cause the surface to shatter instantly, leaving no support as the body is pulled into the deep, rocky gorge. The extreme altitude creates a constant state of disorientation, as the lungs struggle to find oxygen in the freezing atmosphere. These perils are documented in the mountain's history, most notably the loss of legendary climber Charlie Fowler, who was buried by a sudden avalanche in 2006. The striking beauty of the snow-capped peaks masks a nature that never forgives, where absolute silence is often broken by the roar of shifting glaciers. Siguniang remains a destination for only the most focused, serving as a museum of frozen time, where the Earth's heart beats with a rhythm of lethal consequence. From an aerial perspective, the Panlong ancient road in Xinjiang looks like a giant black dragon coiling tightly around the steep slopes of the Pamir Mountains. Located in Huaqiao Township, at an altitude ranging from 3,000 to 4,200 meters, this road is a masterpiece of mechanical persistence in a high-altitude wilderness. The total route spans only 30 kilometers, yet it contains over 600 dizzying turns, many of which are sharper than 180 degrees. Driving this road is a constant exercise in focus, as the thin air makes every breath heavy for both man and machine. In the winter, white snow covers the entire landscape, turning the black asphalt into a slippery ribbon suspended over bottomless drops. Known as the Road to Prosperity, it was built to connect isolated local villages to the global market, but its visual drama quickly made it a viral sensation for adventure seekers. There is no flat ground here, only a complex labyrinth of curves that demand extreme focus and physical endurance. Panlong is more than a transportation route. It is a monument to human determination at the roof of the world. Every corner completed is a victory over the hostile terrain, proving that even the most remote corners of the earth can be reached by a steady hand. Yandang Mountain, in Zhejiang Province, presents a dramatic landscape shaped by ancient volcanic forces. From 120 million years ago, as a UNESCO Global Geopark, it is famous for its vertical cliffs and bizarre rock formations. That challenge normal geological shapes. The most intense experience here is the cliffside walkway, where iron bars are drilled straight into a 90-degree rock face. At a height where giant trees look like green moss. In some areas, visitors must navigate a thin rope connecting two cliffs, leaving nothing below but hundreds of meters of empty air. The mountain is also home to unexplained natural phenomena, such as damp rock surfaces that emit a faint blue phosphorescent glow at night. On stormy nights, strange scraping sounds are said to echo through the deep ravines without any visible source. The popularity of Yandang reached extreme levels in May 2024, when a massive tourist traffic jam occurred on the cliffside, leaving hundreds stuck for over an hour, clinging to the rock. For the observer, Yandang is a sanctuary of mist and silence, where engineering pushes human nerves to the absolute limit. It offers a perspective on the Earth's ancient eruptions that feels both prehistoric and surreal, showcasing nature's ability to create a mystical atmosphere through raw geology. Jiankou Great Wall represents the raw and untamed soul of the Great Wall. Stretching across the Hukou Road district near Beijing, as a series of crumbling fortifications that refuse to be tamed by modern tourism. Named for its aerial resemblance to a drawn bow, this section reveals the authentic scars of the Tang and Ming dynasties, where the path is cracked and nature has begun to reclaim its ground. The terrain features vertical limestone ridges, where the stone stairs lean at terrifying 80-degree angles, often forcing hikers to crawl on all fours to navigate segments less than 60 centimeters wide. At an altitude of 1,141 meters, the eerie silence is broken only by the whistling wind, providing a haunting soundtrack to a landscape of jagged peaks and deep, unforgiving valleys. This section remains a high-risk zone due to frequent lightning strikes and the lack of safety infrastructure, serving as a visceral reminder of the soldiers who once defended this precipitous border against northern invaders. The contrast between the weathered white stone and the dense mountain greenery captures a sense of atmospheric decay, highlighting a story that still hasn't ended. Jiankou is not a destination for leisure, but a monument to historical endurance, where every step along the broken parapets is a gamble with the silence of the clouds. In the mountains of Taiyuan, Shanxi, the Tianlongshan Highway appears as a massive 3D concrete maze stacked in 3 distinct layers along the rocky mountainside. This engineering marvel was built to overcome a height difference of 350 meters within a very short distance, resulting in a system of circular bridges that feel like flying over the peaks rather than driving on them. From behind the wheel, the layout is so complex that it often messes with the driver's sense of distance and direction, leaving only guardrails and the empty sky in view. The highway's dramatic spirals have led many social media users to believe it was created using 3D computer graphics, but the reality is a 30-kilometer bridge system that anchors directly into the sheer cliff face. Tianlongshan is a masterpiece of modern mechanical persistence, where the gray concrete curves provide a striking contrast against the ancient brown earth. It is a journey through a vertical labyrinth that turns a treacherous slope into a viral icon of human ingenuity. Flowing through the high and frigid plateaus of Qinghai, the Tongtian River acts as the sacred upper reaches of the Yangtze, carrying the legendary title of the river that flows to heaven. From the classic Journey to the West, the waterway carves through a vast, cold wilderness, where the current suddenly twists between deep stone corridors, creating white foam rapids that render any human communication impossible. Navigating this river on a tiny raft presents a scene of raw survival, where the sheer scale of the limestone cliffs makes any modern vessel appear insignificant against the primordial flow of the water. The river's character shifts from a deceptive, glass-like calm to violent surges, reflecting the extreme atmospheric conditions of the Tibetan Plateau, where oxygen is scarce and the weather remains a shifting, unpredictable variable. Rafting through these deep corridors reveals a world where the water's roar is the only constant, forcing the observer to confront the unpredictable energy of the Earth's highest altitudes. It is a landscape where the river is the only master, cutting its path through the frozen silence of the ancient mountains. In Shizhou, Chongqing, a concrete road offers a perspective on modern engineering that borders on terror as it runs for 20 kilometers along a narrow mountain ridge. Known appropriately as the Blade Ridge Road, the path is only 3 meters wide at its narrowest points, with sheer cliffs on both sides, dropping 600 meters into a blurry void. From an aerial perspective, a vehicle traveling this route looks like a tiny insect crawling along the sharp edge of a knife. The environment is dominated by howling winds and thick clouds that swirl around the concrete, obscuring the boundary between the road and the abyss. Originally constructed to maintain the massive wind turbines that line the ridge, the road has since become a viral icon for drivers testing their steering precision. In this landscape, there is zero margin for error, where a single wrong steering move means vanishing into the mist forever. The giant white blades of the wind turbines spin slowly through the mountain fog, reminding observers of the wind's immense power. Daobiliang is a testament to human audacity against natural barriers, showcasing a journey where extreme mountain beauty meets the chilling reality of a vertical drop. It remains one of China's most spine-chilling drives, capturing the raw essence of the wild Chongqing Mountains. Rising from the ancient city of Lijiang, Jade Dragon Snow Mountain presents a silver horizon of 13 rolling peaks that curve like a giant dragon resting amidst the clouds. The highest peak, Shanzidou, stands at 5,596 meters and remains an unconquered sentinel of ice, challenging the limits of human exploration with its near-vertical cliffs and thin, oxygen-deprived atmosphere. At the wooden sightseeing platforms located above 4,500 meters, visitors experience a sharp drop in air pressure that makes every heartbeat feel like a physical struggle against the altitude. Beneath the soft, white surface of the snow lie shifting glaciers, forming a natural glacier museum that hides dangerous sinkholes capable of swallowing the unwary in a split second. The weather here is notoriously volatile, where a crystalline blue sky can be wiped out by a sudden blizzard that reduces visibility to zero without warning. This landscape is a fragile balance of crystalline beauty and lethal force, where the glaciers move in a slow, grinding rhythm that reshapes the mountain's face over millennia. The mountain is not just a scenic backdrop, but a living geological force that demands absolute respect for its cold and silent power. Jade Dragon remains a crystalline masterpiece of the Yunnan Highlands, a place where the air is as thin as the line between wonder and peril. As the largest desert in China and the second largest shifting sand desert in the world, the Taklamakan is known chillingly as the Sea of Death. The name carries a creepy warning: once you go in, you will never come out. A reminder of the countless caravans that disappeared along the ancient Silk Road. Covering an area of 337,000 square kilometers within the Tarim Basin, the landscape is dominated by massive sand dunes that constantly shift in the howling winds, distorting every direction. In the summer, surface temperatures can exceed 70 degrees Celsius, causing the shimmering horizon to ripple like water and creating optical illusions that mislead the unwary traveler. The distance between oases can stretch for hundreds of kilometers with zero signs of life, where dehydration and engine failure are constant, lethal threats. Despite its environmental hostility, the desert hides the ruins of ancient cities like Lufan and Nia, buried deep beneath the yellow waves of sand. The Taklamakan is a place of profound solitude and overwhelming scale, where the silence is as heavy as the mountains of sand moving across the horizon. Thank you for traveling with True Earth Travel on this journey through some of China's most extraordinary and challenging landscapes. If you enjoy breathtaking nature, mysterious places, and the massive projects humans have built across difficult terrain, visit our channel to explore many more countries around the world. There you'll find curated lists of natural wonders, remarkable landscapes, and the most impressive mega-projects from each nation. We hope this journey has inspired your curiosity, and we'll see you again in the next adventure.